Hello, Receptive Radio community, visionaries, transformers, change agents. Welcome, welcome. So, today I'm going to talk about the path of transformation and the two different paths that there are that lead us to our desires. And so, those two paths, the path of doing what you want or getting what you want for the self alone, and then receiving what you desire for the purpose of sharing. So we'll just wait a minute while people are getting on. I'm Jennifer Seifert. I'm a spiritual teacher, and I'm on the path of spiritual transformation. And I've been on this road for a long time. And I study a lot of ancient mystical teachings. And this last week, I began reading a 5,000-year-old book, and it's been brought up this topic. So I'm bringing it today to share with you. So if you're just coming on, thank you. Put your name in the comments because I can't see who's coming on because I'm streaming from a different software. But if you put your name in the comment, I can see who's here. And so let's get going. So the path of transformation, or the path of spiritual transformation, and with regards to our purpose and our desire to do what our purpose is. So, hi, Erla. Thank you for coming. One of my biggest fans. And so, this book I'm reading is bringing it about this topic that I'm talking about, the desire to do something or to do our purpose work. Are we doing it just for the self alone? Are we wanting to make money doing what we do in the world just for money and for our own selves? There's that path, that road exists. And then there's this other road of doing it for the purpose of sharing. And that feels to me like the high road and a different vibration than the road of the self alone. And I'm bringing this up because we're often struggling or having financial issues, and it brings us down into a lower frequency where we get confused. What am I doing wrong? Why is this person able to get everything and I'm not? Like we start competing and comparing ourselves with others, that we're not doing something right. And we are doing everything right. We're doing everything right. And when you get on the road of transformation, you're usually awake and aware and more conscious. And the people who are on the road of doing things for the self alone, the narcissistic road or the greedy road, they are still successful at what they do, at making money, because the universe doesn't discriminate, really. It doesn't discriminate, and it's non-judgmental. But there's a way for us to make the consequences. There's consequences. There's consequences for choosing for the self alone, and there's consequences for choosing for the purpose of sharing. And consequences can be good and bad. And we can get confused. Even I'm confused right now trying to bring this message to you. And because it's a hot topic. It's something that I want to bring up to the surface to discuss and for you to think about, because there's getting things. I want this because I want to get it. So, like it feels kind of constrictive. It feels like it's not aligned with purpose or source, where when I want to receive something and I invite receiving that into my life for the purpose of sharing it, for sharing my gift, for sharing with my family, my friends, with my clients, sharing the wisdom and the knowledge, that feels more aligned to how I want to show up in the world and what I want to teach. So, have you ever wondered why some people who really don't give a damn how they get the money or the success that they have, why they are successful? Why do they have financial success? So have you ever wondered why they're doing the total opposite of you? You're playing by all the rules, doing all of the hard work and conscious awareness around what you're putting out there. But then there's other people who are just, hammering it out by cheating and being greedy. Have you ever wondered why? Why do they still win? Why are they still winning at being financially successful and you're struggling? If you have ever wondered, put a yes in the comments. And I've wondered this myself too, and then it makes me question, what am I doing wrong? And getting confused, and then almost giving up on things that are worthy to go after. And I want this community to realize that when you're a visionary and you are putting information out there, or your purpose, your gift, and it's not already something that's really common in the world, you're going to have struggles. You're going to have setbacks. You are going to be confused about, why am I doing this? But don't give up. Don't give up, because there is a purpose for you to do it. It's the purpose of sharing your gift, the purpose of sharing your gift. And so these people who, are motivated by greed and the self alone to get the success that they have, do you think they have everything else together? Do you think that they're completely happy or fulfilled, or have good relationships? Lots of them have. Here's another person coming on. Thank you for saying hello. Maybe put your name in the comments so I can see who you are. Have you ever, these people who are motivated by the self alone to get what they want, the desires that they want, they're usually pretty screwed up individuals. And they're used to getting what they want, and so they get used to taking and bullying and that, and it works for them. It works for them. And they attract other people who are like that too to them. So the universe is allowing this to happen. It's happening. And I just want to bring attention to it. And that there is another way of working in the world that this community wants to operate on, I'm sure. And that is to offer our services in the purpose of sharing our gifts. And guess what? We're allowed to be prosperous and successful and happy and fulfilled while we do it. And the consequences of doing it from the purpose of sharing our gifts and sharing with the world is manyfold. We don't know all the consequences, but it's manyfold. And it might be clearing up karmas. It might be balancing the scales in some other way, but it is worthy. It's a worthy road to be on. The path of sharing your purpose for the purpose of sharing. Isn't it sound like a good path? So why do we get confused? Why do we get confused about what road we're on? Because I feel like we're moving from an old paradigm, an old system of where we're moving from being competitive. We're moving from competing with other people all the time for success. And now we're moving to a paradigm of relationships and fostering each other's uniqueness. And we don't have to compare each other, but it's an old system and we're all hooked into it still. So we're unraveling it. We're healing from it. We're changing. And you have to decide, do I want to be on that road? Do I want to be on the road of the purpose of sharing my prosperity and abundance? Or do I only want it for the self alone and just my family, and we just want our house and our cars and the money in the bank, or is it because you want to create something that is going to awaken other people, inspire them to go after their gifts, and of course you're going to get paid for helping them and that kind of thing, and then you're going to maybe invest it in retreat centers or travel to see other people and to speak and that kind of stuff. So I know that there's lots of people in this community who are in the process of doing their purpose and getting it out to the world so people know that we're doing it. And there's this struggle that we're going through, this struggle of earning income doing what we love. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. And there is a way out. There is a way out. And I feel like it's just a transformation of consciousness to move from the old way, because you may have been in the old way, and being in the old way, I'm pretty sure I was in the old way. Even though I was in a service provider job, I was a waitress for 10 years, and then I was also a chartered professional accountant for 18 years. Even though I was in that job, and I was making a regular secure paycheck every 2 weeks, and the paycheck got bigger and bigger. And I used that money to invest in this purpose that I'm doing now, and also to live and have a car and pay my bills and all that kind of stuff. When we have those limitations on us of like security and comfort and survival, it is very easy to be in the consciousness of having success for the self alone, because it's a survival mode consciousness. It's the old way of being. But now all of us want to move to a thriving consciousness, a one of self-actualization, where we're doing what we love and we're being on purpose, we're serving. And there's this struggle that's happening with shifting a way we make money. And we have to move into more of a receiving consciousness, a consciousness where we invite the universe to help us do our purpose work and make money doing it. And we attract and magnetize to us. In the old consciousness of self alone, we're pretty much in a robotic, automatic form, and we're neither forcing our way or being pushed in the way. We're actually, we're kind of in a slave mode, like we're doing it so if someone else can get rich, because we're stuck at a certain income of level, and we're really kind of stuck and getting into frustration and boredom and stress, mental illness, mental illness and physical illness. By doing that, by staying in that, or am I doing it for this purpose of self alone? Because you might be working for an organization that has that mode of operation, like they have, and you're under it, you're in it. But when you break free and go out on your own and become an entrepreneur, you have the choice. You have the choice. Are you creating this business for the purpose of self alone so that you can get rich? Or are you doing it for the purpose of sharing? And I think this consciousness, I'm still unpacking it, and I'm doing it with you here. So thank you for your patience on what I'm talking about here. But there's something here. There's something here that's affecting the world. This self alone and the purpose of sharing. And I have some notes here. Let me see. Yeah, so when you're in the job and you're confused, it might be because of this old paradigm of, competing, comparing. I'm doing it for, my boss, and I'm doing it so I can survive. I have a home and a car, and I can pay my bills and my credit cards, and then go on a vacation every 2 weeks. But if we were in the other consciousness of receiving what we want for the purpose of sharing, I feel like it could be even more prosperous, more rich, more wealthy. Imagine that. For the last minutes of this session, let's just sit in a field of prosperity and invite the universe to show us, what does the purpose of sharing actually feel like? Because to me, the purpose of self alone feels chaotic, struggle, um, frustrating, bullying, and forceful. But the field of receiving to be prosperous feels effortless, fulfilling and joyful, supportive and peaceful. And so, if we look at the bigger picture of the world, and we know there's lots of wars going on, and all those wars are motivated by this is my land or my stuff, I want it and I'm taking it and I'm getting it for the self alone. Some dictators choosing that. And if we were to move over to the purpose of sharing and receiving to share, receiving, if the world was in that operating mode, we would be more peaceful, moving across borders whenever we want, giving food to countries that have a bad crop, like it seems like this is a bigger topic than I'm actually comprehending at the moment and able to share with you. So just breathe deeply for 1 minute and let go of all of that old self alone desire. And then breathe in the purpose of sharing, receiving for the purpose of sharing. And just imagine yourself being inside your body and being in a field that has a boundary to it. It has a container. You're in this field. And you're inviting the universe to teach you about receiving for the purpose of sharing. And just breathe that in for a minute. What does it feel like? Not what does it think like? What does it feel like to receive your desires when you want to share your wealth? When you want to share your wisdom, share your assets, your gifts. And keep breathing in this receiving my desires for the purpose of sharing. Notice if you can feel comfortable in that field of receptivity. And just notice how relaxing it is and peaceful it is to be in the field of receiving for the purpose of sharing. It holds an element of trust and freedom, positivity. It feels better than getting what I want for myself alone. And so just keep breathing. And I invite you to contemplate this week around getting for the self alone and how it is for you. And where do you do that? Where do you show up in the week or the day? Oh, I need to get this because I need this to feel better for myself? Or where are you? Well, wouldn't that be wonderful if I had that? Then I could share that with others. Um, and just notice where you notice other people being, bullying or forcing to get what they want. And notice if you're how you react to it. And notice how they are. Like just watch them. And I know it shows up on the news quite a bit, people like this. So you just notice their energy. Just notice what it looks like energetically to be somebody who gets what they want because they want it for themselves. And then watch others who are really sharing and generous and notice what their energy is like. And then we can come back and unpack this on another day. So thank you so much for listening and enjoy the week. And I'll see you next Thursday. Have a great day.